Lincoln was on his couch, playing video games with his new girlfriend, girl Jordan. Or in this case, just Jordan as she prefers. I can't believe it's been almost a year since Luann tried to kill me, Lincoln thought to himself. Lincoln, are you alright? Asked Jordan as she snapped Lincoln out of his thoughts. Sorry? Are you okay? Come on, Lincoln, cheer up. Your birthday's coming up, said Jordan. Yeah, I know, but it's Luann. It's almost been a year since she was locked up, Lincoln said in a worried tone. Look, Lincoln, forget about that bitch. Don't let her come between you and your happiness, said Jordan. She then turned off the TV and stood up. Come on, let's go outside for a while, she said as she extended her hand to him. Lincoln accepted it, and they headed outside. They spent their day walking around holding hands. They stopped for lunch and then ate some ice cream and then went to the park. After spending some time together, they decided to rest on the park bench. How are you feeling now? Jordan asked Lincoln. Much better, thank you, Lincoln replied. You're quite welcome, said Jordan as she rested on Lincoln's shoulder. Lincoln then closed his eyes to relax. Oh, what do we have here? Someone said. Lincoln and Jordan opened their eyes and saw it was Luna and Sam sitting on the park table. Oh, what are you doing here, Luna? Lincoln asked. Just taking my babe out. I see you're doing the same too, bro, said Luna. Lincoln and Jordan stood up and Lincoln said, Well, it is getting late. I should take you home, Jordan. Yeah, said Jordan. Wait, we'll come with you, said Luna as she and Sam followed her. Lincoln and the others were standing in front of Jordan's home. Oh, thanks for the amazing day, Lincoln, said Jordan. Yeah, I had fun too, Lincoln said. Both Lincoln and Jordan were nervously staring at each other for almost a minute. Hey, don't mind us, said Sam as she knew what was going on. Lincoln and Jordan gave each other a quick kiss. Bye, said Jordan as she walked to her home. Luna and Sam also gave each other a quick kiss before Sam headed into the opposite direction. Lincoln and Luna then headed back home. So, are you excited about your birthday coming up, big bro? You're turning 13. You're finally gonna be a teenager, said Luna. Yeah, I just wish my friend could come to my party, Lincoln said. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro, but not all friendships always last. Things aren't always gonna be the same forever. Things change, bro. Things change. Look, remember when Lori was dating Bobby and now they broke up? Or how Lynn used to be in the sports athlete and now she let herself go? Or how Lucy used to be a goth and now she's Miss Sunshine now? Or how Lana used to eat garbage and keep wild animals as pets and now she's taking better care of herself? Or how Lisa was self-proclaimed genius and pretty much is now just a normal, average, everyday girl? Or how about the time he used to be a wimp with no talents and only read comic books in his undies? But ever since that bad luck incident, you finally stood up for yourself and fought Lynn and taught her a lesson. In fact, your new strength has gotten you tons of situations. Heck, you even got your chipped tooth fixed and now you have a great smile. I mean, things aren't going to go back to normal in 11 minutes. I mean, who would want to live in a world where everything stays the same? Nothing changes and no one ages. No matter how many holidays have passed, things change, bro. For better or for the worst, said Luna. Like how Mom and Dad got a divorce, said Lincoln as he stopped walking. Luna just stood there staring at Lincoln. He was right. It had been 6 months since their parents had gotten divorced. Lincoln's father took Lori, Lynn, Lola, and Lisa, while Lincoln's mom kept Lenny, Luna, Lucy, and Lana, Lily, and, of course, Lincoln. Yeah, but listen, even though our parents are divorced, we're still a family. We're just different. There's a lot of different families. But it doesn't matter because families are still families, no matter how different they are. And as I said before, I don't care that you're adopted. You're still my little bro, Luna told Lincoln. Yeah, you're right, I guess. But I still wish Clyde, Zach, Rusty, and Liam could still come to my party, though. But they've all just rejected me and moved away, and it's likely I'll never see them again. I lost my friends, said Lincoln with a sad tone. Look, Lincoln, I know how you feel. Remember the beer incident last summer? I always thought Chuck was my friend, but he just abandoned me. I mean, he was kind enough to bail me out, but he didn't even say goodbye. He just told the officers to give me a message, and that he didn't want to be my roadie anymore. And that's the last time he'll help me. Yeah, I remember that. Mom had to pick you up from the police station and grounded you for the rest of the summer. But it's not like you're gonna be alone. I mean, think of it. You still have us. Dad is beginning to bring the girls. Pop's also gonna be there. And it's not like you don't have any friends left. Jordan's still gonna be there. So is Stella, Tabby, Joe, Molly, Renee, Gabby, Christine, not to mention that Paige is going to video chat. Even Nikki and Ronnie Ann are gonna be there, Luna told Lincoln as they continued walking home. So Ronnie Ann is gonna be at my birthday party? Lincoln asked with a smirk on his face. Yeah, why? Oh, nothing. It's just that she's gonna give me the best birthday present ever, Lincoln said when he still had a smirk on his face. Lincoln and Luna had finally made it home. They both said goodnight to each other and headed to their rooms. Lana was on the bottom bunk playing with her stuffed animals. She may not have been allowed to keep wild animals ever since El Diablo tried to eat her, and Luna couldn't hear her screaming because she was wearing her headphones while asleep. Luckily for her, Lincoln heard her screaming and saved her, but Lincoln had to kill El Diablo in order to save her. After they were taken to the hospital, Lana's parents scolded her for keeping wild animals as pets. In order to prevent any more of this from happening, all of her pets were taken away by animal control. She at least wanted to keep hops until she found out frogs carry bacteria called salmonella, and which is a serious illness in people. That's probably why she was getting sick all those times. She was against the idea at first, but realized it was for the best. But still, Lana was upset about it. So her parents got her stuffed animals that represented her previous pets to help her cheer up, and shockingly enough, it worked. However, Lana was still traumatized from almost getting eaten by El Diablo, and she got odophobia. Lincoln still realized that he's sort of a claustrophobia himself. As for Luna, she still hated herself for wearing her headphones and not being able to save Lana. To prevent something like that from happening, she stopped wearing headphones while going to bed. Lana noticed someone opening the door, revealing it to be Luna. "Oh, hey Luna. Where were you?" asked Lana. "I was out with my babe Sam, but it's getting late. We should be getting to bed," Luna said as she walked towards Lana, giving her a goodnight kiss on the forehead before climbing on top of the bunk. Ever since Lincoln's parents got a divorce, there were rooms to spare. Since Lincoln was getting too big, he moved into Lynn and Lucy's old room, while Lucy moved in with Lenny since Lucy's new personal fits with Lenny. Lily moved into Lincoln's old room, as it was just her size. There were a few rooms left, but the kids were okay staying at where they were. Luna and Lana liked being roommates. Lucy didn't want to be alone. As for Lincoln, since he was a growing boy, it was best for him to stay in his own room, as it might not be a good idea for him to share a room with his sisters, especially since he was going through puberty and that it might be a bit awkward. As for the spare rooms, Rita turned them into guest rooms in case a family member or a guest stayed over. Lincoln put on his PJs, laid in bed, and then fell asleep. "It's time to begin this. I've had this plan all year long," said Luann as she was writing something on a piece of paper. Luann curled up in the paper into a ball. "This is gonna hurt, but it's gonna be worth it." She then swallowed the paper ball. Luann then started choking. The two guards heard Luann choking and came to Luann's cell and opened the door and tried to help her. As the guards helped her spit out the paper ball, Luann grabbed the pencil she had and stabbed the guard in the stomach. She then stabbed the other guard in the stomach as well. The both of them were on the ground. Luann walked towards them and stabbed them both in the throat, severing their jugular and killing them. She then began picking through their pockets and ultimately found the keys. "I'm coming for you, Lincoln," said Luann as she walked out of the cell and closed the door behind her. Luann had been walking around all night long trying to find her old house, but she didn't really know where it was. It was also too far. There was no way in hell she'd make it before she would get caught. She then came across an abandoned factory. "Oh, this will do just fine." She turned around to a shadowy figure and said, "Stay here, I'm getting us some supplies." She then walked to find the nearest store. After hours of walking, she found a hardware shop. She entered the shop to find the tools she needed for their revenge. After gathering all the tools, she walked towards the exit until the store clerk stopped her. "Miss, you're supposed to pay for that." Luann grabbed a mallet and slammed it on his head, knocking him unconscious. She then walked through him and continued hitting him with the mallet until she had killed him. She was about to walk out when she saw a fat guy walking towards the door, who saw everything. He then started running away. Luann then chased him with a screwdriver, and with one fatal swoop, stabbed him in his back, causing him to fall down. She removed the screwdriver from his back and began to stab him in the throat, killing him as well. She then noticed that there was a pickup truck that must have belonged to the fat guy. She picked his pockets and found the keys, and then pulled all her stuff in the truck and then went inside. "I'll be there in no time," Luann said to herself. Luann may not have had a driver's license, but she knew a few things thanks to watching her parents and older sisters drive. Luann turned on the truck and drove off. After about an hour of driving, she was starting to get rather hungry. She then saw this woman holding a bag of donuts. Luann got out of the truck and walked towards the woman. "Can I help you with anything?" asked the woman. "Give me those donuts," answered Luann. "No, they're for my son, and how dare you talk to me like that?" yelled the woman. Luann then pulled out a hammer and hit the woman with it, knocking her out. Luann then used the claw of the hammer and stabbed it into her forehead, penetrating her brain, killing her instantly. Luann took the bag of donuts and headed back to the truck. While driving, she saw the mother and her children crossing the street, but Luann didn't stop the truck. She stepped on the accelerator and ran the kids over. The mother continued to scream and howl as she caressed her dead children. Luann stepped out of the truck holding the screwdriver. The mother screamed as she was trying to run away, but Luann pulled her by the hair and stabbed her to death. "Wakey, wakey, Lincoln!" Lincoln opened his eyes and saw that it was Lily holding the little Bun Bun doll that Lincoln had gave her for her second birthday. "Morning, Lily," said Lincoln as he got up. He went to the kitchen and saw his mom making breakfast. "Oh, there you are, Lincoln. Help me with breakfast, would you?" said Rita. Ever since Lincoln's parents got separated, Lincoln had been helping out his mom with the cooking now that Lynn Sr. wasn't around. After preparing breakfast, Lincoln and Rita set the plates on the table. "Kids, breakfast is ready," called out Rita. Lily, Lusa, Luna, Lenny, and Lana came to the table and ate their breakfast. "I gotta say, Lincoln, your cooking's been improving more and more every day," said Lana as she was eating. "Thanks, but I can't really take all the credit. Mom was the one who did most of the cooking," said Lincoln as he sat down and ate. "Nonsense, Lincoln. I couldn't have done it without you," said Rita. "So, Lincoln, are you excited about your birthday tomorrow?" asked Lucy. "Yeah, of course. I mean, I wish Clyde and the others were there, but I'm still looking forward to it," answered Lincoln. "I know how you feel, bro. I lost my friends ever since I stopped being a goth. They couldn't accept me for who I am now, but at least I found new friends. Friends who like to read Princess Pony with me, and the same thing also happened with Lynn, ever since she let herself go. All of her friends abandoned her and remembered when she tried to ask out Francisco to the dance. He just called her a rather fat weakling," Lucy said. "Well, it doesn't seem like they were very nice friends. They all left us just because we changed a little. I mean, my friends were afraid of me ever since I defended you, Lana, Lola, and the others from Chandler and his goons. And they avoided me during the whole summer, and after summer vacation, they ended up telling me that they were all moving away. Then I kind of told off Clyde," Lincoln said. "Like, what did you tell him?" asked Lenny. "Oh, well, I told him that Bobby and Lori broke up and that he doesn't stand a chance with Lori and never has. And that all the stuff I said about him having a chance with Lori was all a lie. At least Paige stuck by me. That is until she moved away," Lincoln said as he finished eating his breakfast. "Well, you kids better get ready for school. I'll go start the car," said Rita as she walked outside. "It's called the Vanzilla too, Mom," said Lana. "Yeah, whatever." After a few hours of driving, she had found a party store. "Can't have a birthday party without a birthday clown," said Luann as she walked to the party store. She picked out a clown outfit and makeup, but before she could steal them, she saw the polka-dotted pants, clown shoes, and a clown mask. "He might need it," said Luann as he grabbed the pants, shoes, and mask. Luann was about to leave, but a female worker stopped her. "Excuse me, miss, but you need to pay for—" Luann didn't even give her an opportunity to say anything else, as she only proceeded to pull out a pocket knife and stab her, killing her instantly. I guess you really got the point. Get it? Luann said as she headed back to the truck and drove it away. All I need now is a few more things, Luann said before driving the truck. She then noticed a propane station. That could be fun, but how am I going to get access to that? Luann thought to herself. She then noticed one of the workers who had the keys in the entire break room. There they are, but how am I supposed to get them? There could be other workers in there that could try and stop me. She continued thinking to herself. The pizza delivery boy walking up to the door. That's it! Luann then got an idea. She then walked over to the delivery boy and hit him over the head, knocking him out. And while she did that, she dragged his body out and took his clothes. She then put out the poison she had stole from the hardware store and spread it all over the pizza. She then walked over towards a door and knocked on it. A man with an angry face answered the door. You're late! Remember, 30 minutes late and it's free! He grabbed the pizza box and slammed the door in front of Luann. Luann pressed her ear against the door to listen. She then started to hear some choking. After the choking had stopped, she opened the door and saw all the workers were dead. She then immediately grabbed the keys and headed outside. Lincoln was walking home, carrying a trophy shaped like an A+. He walked in and saw his sisters were on the couch watching TV. Welcome home. Oh, I see you won the straight A trophy. Good job, Lincoln. I knew you could do it, said Luna. Thanks, sis. Can you imagine? Almost 2 years ago, I'd never had my own trophy. An outsider living in my sister's shadow, even my younger ones. I mean, Lily had more trophies and she was only a baby back then. But not anymore. I finally discovered my own talents, and I finally have my own real trophies. But I could have never done it without you guys. Most of these trophies I've won because of your help. Again, I'm sorry I destroyed the most improved brother trophy, said Lincoln. It's okay. You were angry, but you were right. You always sacrifice everything you work up to, only for it to give it to us. Yet we never returned the favor. But I understand how you felt, Lincoln. It's the same as you before discovering my passion with music, Luna said while Lincoln put the trophy in the case. Almost about 2 years ago, I was a loser. Now I'm a true winner, said Lincoln as he saw all of his trophies. The comic trophy he earned for writing the best-made fan comic. The chess trophy was that when Lisa taught him how to play chess. His drama trophy was when he signed up for drama. His ribbon from the spelling bee, his perfect attendance trophy, golf trophy, soccer trophy, football trophy, best reader trophy, marathon medal, bike trophy, wrestler trophy, certificate from fixing the park, and many, 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 many others that he had gotten from elementary school and such. He also had a bunch of other things as well. Lincoln, do you want to watch Dreamboat with us? Asked Lenny. No, hey, that show's lame. I'm heading to my room, Lincoln said as he walked upstairs to his room. What's wrong with Linky? He used to like watching TV with us. Now he's always locked in his room, said Lenny. He's growing up, Lenny. He's not going to be the same person like he was when he was 11. One time when I asked him I wanted to watch ARG with me, and he said he wasn't into that anymore and locked himself in his room, said Luna. What do you think he's doing in there? Lucy asked. Rita came by and said, Look, just leave your brother alone. He's been going through some personal problems. Like what? Asked Lana. You'll understand when you're older, said Rita. Luann was checking the piece of paper she had with her. Looks like I have everything I need. All I need now is Lincoln. Luann said as she grabbed her tranquilizer. She headed to the truck. Her next distance is the Loud House. Lincoln was heading downstairs. Hey, Mom, I'm going out for a while. Lincoln called out for his mom as he opened the door. Okay, dearie, just be back before dinner, Rita called back. Lincoln was walking around the neighborhood. He came across Jordan. Oh, hey, Jordan, what are you doing here? Lincoln asked her. I was going to your house to talk to you, answered Jordan. What do you want to talk about? Asked Lincoln. It's about your party. My parents wanted to know if they wanted them to bring food over, Jordan asked Lincoln. Of course. Even though Mom and I were doing the cooking, there's never enough, especially since the guest list is pretty big. How big is it? Well, remember that my whole family is going to be there, but there's also going to bring some friends as well, and my friends are going to bring their families, Lincoln told Jordan. So how about Chinese food? My family loves Chinese food, Jordan asked. That sounds great, Lincoln replied before walking away. Wait, where are you going? Jordan asked Lincoln. I'm just going out for a walk. You want to join me? That sounds nice, Jordan said as she followed him. It was getting dark outside. Luann had been driving for about 2 hours, but she was almost getting close to her old house. That is, if her family still lived in there. Luann was worried that maybe they had all moved away, far, far away from there. And there was no way she'd be able to find them before the police catched up with her. Luann just shrugged it off. There was no way that they all moved away because of her, and she was only gone for nearly a year. It's not like she was gone for over 10 years. Luann just sped up on the truck. She had to get revenge before she got caught. The police are probably looking for her right now as we speak. She then noticed someone walking on the sidewalk. She stopped the truck and peered out. That boy. He looked so familiar. No, it can't. It could be. It was Lincoln. Lincoln and Jordan saw a pickup truck parked in the middle of the street. They both just shrugged it off as they thought it was nothing. Suddenly, the truck opened up. No, Lincoln thought to himself. Please. No, it can't be. That's impossible. Lincoln continued thinking to himself. Hello again, Lincoln, Luann said with a smile. Wait a... What the... How the hell is she here? Jordan asked in shock. Luann noticed that Jordan was holding Lincoln's hand. Oh, I see, Luann said before pulling out her tranquilizer. Lincoln was in too much shock to fight back, as all he did was just stand there like a statue. Luann took this opportunity and shot a dart at Lincoln. Lincoln then fell to the ground, and all he saw was Jordan running up to him and crying before cutting to black. Lincoln opened his eyes and noticed that his hands had been tied up to the ceiling. He was also completely and utterly shirtless. Hello, Lincoln. Lincoln looked in front of him and saw Luann dress up as a clown. Lincoln, look at you. My goodness, how much you've grown. Lincoln just stared at her with a shocked face. You've changed. Oh, you're about the same height as me. I'm starting to notice some muscle development. I can also see you comb your hair into bangs. Whatever happened to that chipped tooth? I missed it. Lincoln just froze as Luann continued to monologue. Boy, I sure miss a lot of things over the past year. I miss Lori and Bobby's breakup and her graduation, Lenny and Luna getting their driver's license, you and Paige's breakup, your friends abandoning you, your parents telling you that you're adopted, Lily's potty training, and our parents' divorce. Lincoln looked at her with shock. How the hell do you know all that? Lincoln spoke. Your voice has changed too. How nice. Well, I know this because of, this, Luann said as she pulled out Lincoln's cell phone. I read over all your texts you sent to your friends, Luann mocked. Speaking of friends, where's Jordan? Lincoln asked with a worried expression. Jordan? You mean one of your new girlfriends? Well, here she is. Luann then walked over to her curtain and pulled it out, revealing Jordan tied up to a chair. Her hair untied, her earrings were missing, so was her bow. She was only wearing an undershirt and panties. Jordan woke up and screamed as soon as she had saw Luann. Luann walked up to her and slapped her on the face. Shut up, you stupid bitch! I'm talking with Lincoln right now. Luann yelled at her. Lincoln glared at Luann in rage. He wanted to say something, but decided against it, as he knew that any particular wrong word could ultimately mean the worst kind of pain. Luann then turned back to Lincoln and said, You know, bro, I never thought you were such a player. I mean, all your friends are girls. Luann looked at the contacts. I'm actually surprised that Christina is coming to your party, especially after posting that embarrassing video of yourself. Oh, please, nobody even remembers that. In fact, Christina even came back to my class a week after I posted that video. She doesn't even remember why my stitched-up class in the first place. And ever since I beat up Chandler and the goons, you cheated on Paige with Christina, and that's why she dumped you, Luann mocked. No, we broke up because she was moving to a different country, and because long-distance relationships don't always work out. like Lori and Bobby, so we decided it was the best to break up with each other. After she moved away, I was miserable, but that's when Jordan decided to cheer me up, and eventually we started dating, Lincoln told her. How cute! Luann continued to mock him. Luann, why are you doing this? What the fuck is your problem? Lincoln more or less ordered. It's you. It's all your fault this happened to me, Luann growled. How is this my fault? 'Cause ever since last April Fool's, when you used my own traps against me, our parents banned me from pulling pranks on April Fool's Day. You ruined my relationship with Benny after I pulled a prank on Paige, and ever since Sam came, she convinced my parents to never let me pull pranks again. And because you helped Luna confess her love to Sam, it's your fault. But you know all of those pranks I could have never pulled off, everything you did, I still forgave you for it because it was my own fault. But then you called me unfunny. And that was what made me lose it. It's your fucking fault, Lincoln. I've gone crazy. I am funny! Luann laughed. Look, I'm sorry for everything, but please just let Jordan go. She had nothing to do with any of this, Lincoln begged. No. After I'm done with you, she's next on my list, Luann said as she dropped Lincoln's phone and picked up a machete. Then I'm going to kill what's left of my family next. I think I'll start with Lana, Luann said with a smirk. No, please don't, Lincoln begged. I heard that she took over my room after you guys sold my stuff. I'm gonna enjoy this to the fullest extent I can enjoy. No, please don't do this, Luann. Please, just do what you want with me. Don't hurt any of them, Lincoln cried out. You should have thought about that before you called me unfunny. Luann ran towards Lincoln with the machete. Lincoln swung the ropes and kicked Luann in the eye with his cleats. She was knocked out and let go of the machete. Lincoln quickly grabbed it with his cleats before it fell to the ground. He lifted his legs to his right hand, grabbed the machete, and tried cutting off the rope tied on his left arm. Luann got back up, picked up a spiky club, and ran towards Lincoln with rage. Lincoln finally cut off the rope. He ripped the rope off and untied his right arm and threw the machete towards Luann's shoulder. Luann screamed in agony, and Lincoln held onto the ropes, swinging from them and kicking Luann in the face after letting go. Lincoln then grabbed the club that Luann had dropped, and then ran towards Jordan and untied her. Run! Lincoln yelled. Jordan quickly got up, grabbed Lincoln's cell phone, and headed towards the exit. Luann got back up and saw Lincoln in a fighting position. Luann tried standing up, but due to the pain on her shoulder, she could barely stand. You should have tied up my legs as well. Things aren't going to be the same as they were last year. I'm stronger than I was last time, said Lincoln. Luann just smirked. I guess you're right, but unlike last year, I actually have help, Luann smirked. Suddenly, a big man only wearing polka dot pants, a clown mask, and clown shoes came in, with a chainsaw. Lincoln had never seen a man this big and buff before. Even Lincoln's old gym teacher, Coach Kowalski, and Luna's old roadie, Chuck, would seem like scrawny shrimps compared to this man. The man ran towards Lincoln and tried to slice him up with a chainsaw, but he dodged it right on time. I'd like to introduce you to my new friend. His name's Ed. He was locked up for cannibalizing children. He agreed to help me since I know a few people he might enjoy, Luann said as she was referring to her younger sisters. Ed chased Lincoln with a chainsaw as he was running away. Lincoln swung the club at Ed, but it blocked it with his hand. Ed pulled away the club and threw it away and sliced Lincoln on the chest. Lincoln fell to the ground as he screamed in pain. Ed was about to slice off Lincoln's head, but Lincoln kicked him in the crotch. Ed dropped to his knees while holding his crotch in pain. Lincoln then ran towards the club and picked it up. He turned around and saw Ed quickly running towards him with blood rage while he held the chainsaw. Lincoln blocked it with the club, but Ed since sliced it in half. Lincoln just used the other half of the club and swung it at Ed's face, but he just took it like it was nothing. Lincoln backed up as Ed was slowly walked towards him. Lincoln bumped into something. He turned around and saw a propane tank. He grabbed it and threw it towards Ed's head. Ed held his head in pain as he dropped his chainsaw. Lincoln took this opportunity to run towards the saw and kick it away. Ed stared at Lincoln with anger. Lincoln tried to punch Ed, but he was easily blocked. He lifted Lincoln from his arm and punched Lincoln in the stomach, causing him to cough up blood. Ed tried to punch Lincoln in the face, but he dodged it and bit Ed's arm and bit off his skin, spilling out blood and a little muscle. Ed threw Lincoln to the ground and started kicking him repeatedly. Luann finally stood up and grabbed an axe. She then ran towards Lincoln. Lincoln was still on the ground while Ed continued to kick him. Lincoln was waiting for the right opportunity. As Ed was going for another kick, Lincoln punched him in his crotch, causing him to drop to his knees again. He quickly stood up, turned around, and saw Luann running towards him with the axe. Lincoln dodged it right on time, but since he moved out of the way, Luann accidentally stabbed Ed in his head, severing his brain and killing him. He was useless anyway, Luann thought to herself as she tried to pull out the axe. Lincoln then took this opportunity to tackle Luann. She started punching her over and over and over again, until she was spitting out blood. Lincoln went for one final blow, and knocked out every single one of her teeth. Lincoln stood up and said, "There! Now you never have to wear braces ever again." Lincoln was about to head out, but before saying, "You're pathetic, you know that, right? Look at you. We've all changed. We've all grown up. We all moved on, but not you. You're still the same psychopath that you always have been, and you always will be. You know, you can't end a party without a bang." Get it? Luann then pulled out a firecracker and lit it up with a lighter. Lincoln looked around and saw a bunch of propane tanks. Luann smirked. This party was a blast. Get it? Lincoln quickly headed towards the exit. Luann threw the firecracker at the nearest propane tank, and then the whole factory exploded. Jordan had finished calling the police on Lincoln's cell phone. She then heard a loud bang. She turned around and saw that the factory had been destroyed. Lincoln! Jordan ran towards the now destroyed factory. Lincoln! Jordan shouted as she searched for him. She then saw a body covered in the pieces of the destroyed factory. She ran up towards it and removed everything, but it wasn't Lincoln. It was Luann, who was still alive. Luann woke up and said, "I guess you could say that his mind was blown." Get it? Luann laughed to herself. Jordan looked at her with pure, unadulterated rage. "How dare you!" Jordan cried as she picked up the rock and began beating Luann with it, over and over again. But she stopped as soon as she saw blood spilling out of Luann's cracked head. Jordan dropped the rock and started sobbing. She couldn't bring herself to do it. "Lincoln is dead," said Luann as she was laughing. But then she heard something. Jordan ran towards the noise and removed everything that was on top. It was Lincoln. He was burned, but he was alive. Jordan immediately grabbed him and hugged him. She could still hear his heartbeat. He was still alive. Lincoln then immediately woke up and stood back up. "No!" yelled Luann as she pulled out a pocket knife. Tried to stand up, but she couldn't. In fact, she couldn't even feel her legs. Luann removed everything that was covering her legs until she saw it. Her legs were missing. "No, no, no! This wasn't supposed to happen! This is all your fucking fault!" Luann yelled as she threw the knife at them, but Lincoln pushed himself and Jordan to the ground. Then they heard the sirens. They turned around and saw the police and ambulance coming towards them. Jordan helped Lincoln walk towards them. The paramedics immediately got out and helped out Lincoln and Jordan with their injuries. Lincoln had several scratches and bruises, and his legs were crushed, and he couldn't even really walk, and his chest was bleeding like there was no tomorrow. As for Jordan, she only had a couple of bruises, and one big one from the time Luann had slapped her. After the injuries were patched up, they were taken to the police station where they called their families to pick them up. Now, they were sitting on their chairs covered in blankets due to the lack of clothing they had on. Lincoln had bandages pretty much everywhere while Jordan only had one on her cheek. They were waiting for their families to pick them up. Lincoln turned around and faced Jordan and said, I'm sorry that happened. Jordan faced him and said, It's alright, it wasn't your fault. But it is. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been caught in any of this, Lincoln told her. Look, you didn't know this was going to happen. It's not your fault, Jordan said as she gave Lincoln a kiss on the cheek. By the way, here's your phone. I used it to call 911, Jordan said as she handed Lincoln his cell phone. Thanks, said Lincoln as he grabbed his phone and put it in his pocket. Suddenly, somebody quickly opened the door. It was Rita and Jordan's parents. They ran towards their children and hugged them while they were crying. Lincoln, I'm so glad you're safe, Rita cried as she was hugging Lincoln tightly. Lincoln hugged his mother's back. I'm okay, Lincoln whispered to his mother. Rita pulled him away. Lincoln was about to say something, but Rita interrupted him. I know what happened. The police notified me about Luann. What happened to her, by the way? Lincoln asked. She was taken away to a hospital, and she's going to be sentenced to trial tomorrow morning, Rita said. We all have to be there. Thank you so much for saving my daughter, said Jordan's mother. It's no problem, said Lincoln. Rita was driving herself and Lincoln home in the Vanzilla too. As they walked in the house, Rita asked Lincoln, Are you okay? I'm scared, Mom. I really am. I thought that when Luann was locked up, that was going to be the last time I'd ever see her, but she escaped, and I'm worried that she'll try and do that again. It's going to be okay, Lincoln. It's all going to be fine. I promise you. Does anybody else know? No. When you didn't show up, I tried calling you on your phone, but you didn't answer. I was starting to get worried, but I shrugged it off and decided to cook dinner myself, and I waited for you to come home. But after a few hours, I started to get really worried, so I went to search for you, but I found nothing. Then I got a phone call from the police, and they told me everything, and I quickly drove to the police station as soon as possible, where we are now. Your sisters don't know what happened, but they're getting worried about you as well when you didn't come home. I told them that I'd go search for you. Right now your sisters are all asleep, and we should get to bed as well. We have a big day tomorrow, Rita said. Lincoln woke up and noticed his mom was missing. He walked out of the door and saw his mother talking to her sisters in the living room. It seemed like she had told him everything about last night. Good morning, Lincoln tried to lighten up the mood. Lincoln's sisters turned to him and quickly hugged him. Lincoln! Cried out Lenny. I can't believe this happened, cried Luna. I'm so glad you're safe, cried Lucy. Oh my God, we were so worried, cried Lana. There were various other sounds, but it was kind of hard to decipher which ones they were saying. Lincoln, of course, hugged his sisters back and said, Don't worry. Everything's all right now. Come on, girls, that's enough, Rita said as her daughters pulled away themselves from her brother. Lincoln, you better get dressed. We have court, remember? Rita told her. Lincoln nodded and went to his room to change. Luna was about to say something, but Rita cut her off. I know what you're going to say, Luna. I feel the same way, too. I told Luann if she ever gets near Lincoln again, I'd fucking kill her, Luna said. Luna, don't do anything when we get there, okay? I know you're pissed off, and so am I, but let's just let the judge deal with this, okay? Okay, but if anything happens, Luna said before she was cut off when Lincoln walked down the stairs. Well, now that we're ready, let's go, Rita told her. They all immediately walked in and went to Vanzilla. Lincoln and his family arrived at the courthouse. They were sitting there with the doors open. Everyone turned around and saw that it was Luann in a wheelchair being pushed by some guards. Lincoln's family couldn't help but notice that Luann was missing her legs. Lincoln didn't say anything but to his family about what had happened between him and Luann, but they decided that they should ask Lincoln later about Luann's legs. Luna glared at Luann as she was coming by. She really wanted to beat the living shit out of her, but decided against it. The judge came in and said, Let's get this over with. During the court, everyone found out about how Luann had escaped and what she did. It says here after you killed 2 guards, you freed Ed the cannibal psycho who killed and had eaten over 30 known children before he was arrested, the judge said. I did, I thought I could use him since he was very big and strong, Luann told the judge. It says here that you also stole a bunch of tools from a hardware store, killed a store clerk and a customer, stole the customer's pickup truck, killed a woman, ran over 2 children, and stabbed the mother to death, killed a female worker at a party store after stealing clown costumes, stabbed a pizza delivery boy to death, poisoned the pizza, and, oh, dear mother of God, there's so many of them! Yeah, I did all of that, Luann confessed. Lincoln was shocked to hear that. He was wondering how Luann had escaped and how she had managed to get a hold of so many weapons. But he never thought that Luann would kill that many people to get her way. But then again, she would do anything to get her way, even if it meant murdering others, including children. Do you have anything to say for yourself? The judge asked her. Yeah, I do. She turned around to face Lincoln and said, I should have killed you when I had the chance. Luann, after a trial, you have been sentenced to death, said the judge as he banged his gavel. Everyone just stared in shock. What? Asked Luann. You heard me. You are sentenced to death for murder, kidnapping, and attempted murder. You could be sentenced to life in prison, but we both know you'll just break out again. I sentence you to death by lethal injection. Luann then angrily turned to face Lincoln. This is all your fucking fault! Luann yelled as she tried to attack Lincoln, but she fell out of her wheelchair, forgetting that she had lost her legs. She tried crawling towards Lincoln, but Luna stopped her. I had enough of you, Luna yelled at Luann as she attacked her. They both started fighting with each other until the guards stopped them. I'll kill all of you, you hear me? You're all going to die! Luann yelled as two guards took her away in her wheelchair. The Loud family was walking out of the courthouse. Rita then walked up to Luna and slapped her across the face. What did I tell you about doing anything? Rita scolded her daughter. I'm sorry, I was angry and she was going to attack Lincoln. Luna looked down in shame. Rita sighed and said, It's okay. You're just lucky, though, that the judge let that slide. Just don't ever do that again. You really could have gotten yourself into a lot of trouble like last time. They all then headed to Vanzilla 2 and went back home. During the whole ride home, no one said anything to each other. When they finally reached the home, they all stepped out of the vehicle. They opened the door and turned on the lights, and then, surprise! They were all startled from what had just happened. It was the rest of the family, and Lincoln's friends that had surprised him. Happy birthday, Lincoln, they all said. Lincoln just stood there frozen. It was his birthday? Of course Lincoln remembered now. He almost forgot it was his birthday because of what had happened. Did he really want to celebrate his birthday? He honestly didn't seem like he was in the mood. Then again, he didn't want to seem like a buzzkill, and if anything, he really could have used all that to cheer up for what had happened. But do any of them even know what had happened? Of course not. Lincoln heard someone walking towards him from behind. It was Jordan and her parents carrying Chinese food. Hey Lincoln, I was wondering if you still wanted... Jordan stopped talking when she noticed all the decorations and guessed. I guess you do, Jordan said as she and her parents walked in. I'm sorry everybody, but we were out and haven't had a whole lot of time to cook food, Rita spoke. That's okay. We brought plenty, Lynn Sr. said, as he pointed at the dishes that he and everybody else bought. Tabby walked up to Lincoln with a new guitar. She handed it over to Lincoln and said, Happy birthday. I got you a brand new guitar so that we could party. What are you waiting for? Come on and play it. Lincoln was still standing there frozen. I'm sorry, everyone. Lincoln's been going through a lot. I don't think he's really in much of a mood to celebrate, Rita spoke up. Lincoln didn't know what to think of this. He was glad that everybody was over to celebrate his birthday, but like he's thought before, was he even really in the mood? Lincoln just started playing his new guitar. Come on, everybody. Let's just party. Lincoln finally spoke up. Everyone then started having fun. There was dancing, games, food. Everyone had bought over, during which everyone couldn't help but notice that Lincoln had a bunch of bandages across him. Lincoln just lied and told them that he got in a fight with a bunch of bullies. After a few hours of talking to his other sisters that he hadn't seen for a while. So, Lori, what have you found? Have you found yourself a new boyfriend yet, or what? Lincoln asked his sister. What? No, why do you ask? Lori asked him. Oh, nothing, just curious. So, there's a guy at a college, that you like at a college, or what? Lincoln asked. I don't need to tell you that, Lori said as she walked away. Yep, she definitely has a crush on some guy at college. I wonder who it is, though, Lincoln thought to himself. Lincoln was proud of himself. He was able to get a new girlfriend only after a few weeks after he and Paige had broken up. Yet Lori hadn't found herself a new boyfriend during the first year at college. Speaking of Paige, Lincoln checked his laptop to see how Paige was doing. Hey, Lincoln, happy birthday. Dude, what the heck is up with the bandages? Did you get in another fight? Said Paige on the video chat. Thanks, and yeah, I kinda did. I heard you're dating a girl, Jordan, now. Yeah, but she just goes by Jordan. Anyway, how are you doing? How's New York? Well, it took a little while to get used to, but other than that, I'm fine. And that's good to hear. Lincoln and Paige then continued to have their conversation, catching up with one another, except the part about Luann. Lincoln didn't want Paige to be worried, especially after what had happened last year. Rita and Lynn Sr. were watching their son from afar, having fun with the rest of his friends. Who would have guessed? All grown up now, 13 years old. I have to say, we did a pretty damn good job raising him, Lynn Sr. told his ex-wife. Rita wasn't sure if she should tell him about what had happened, but she figured it was for the best to just not say anything. So, have you, moved on? Rita asked if she meant if her ex-husband was dating anybody new. No, I haven't met anyone yet. What about you? I'm too busy. So, how did you all get into the house? I was sure I locked it. Well, I used a spare key I had with me to let myself and the guest in, by the way. But more importantly, where in the world were all of you? Lynn Sr. asked. We were out. I was wondering something. Why did you let me keep the car? I mean, it was nice enough for you to let me keep the house, but why did you let me keep the car? I mean, you had to borrow one of your friend's cars to move into the new house. Rita tried to change the subject to avoid him from asking any more questions. Well, I wanted to pass down the original Vanzilla to Lincoln when he grows up, but because it's destroyed now, I at least wanted to have him keep Vanzilla too. Besides, I bought back the Veronica since my friend was getting tired of me borrowing his car. I see. Well, it's nice catching up with you, Lynn, but you do know I'm planning on buying Lincoln a new car for his graduation, or at least a used one, Rita said as she walked away. It was now time for the cake. Everyone sang Lincoln the happy birthday song while Rita lit up 13 candles. Lincoln held his breath and made his wish. I wish to have a long and happy life, he thought to himself as he blew out the candles. Lynn walked next to him and said, Congratulations, Lincoln. You're finally now a teenager. Get ready for a life full of acne and misery. Thanks. Here, you can have the first slice, Lincoln said sarcastically as he handed her the cake. Thanks, Lynn said as she threw the fork and plate away and ate her cake with her bare hands. No problem, fatty, Lincoln teased Lynn. She wanted to pick a fight, but didn't want to get beat up like last time. She was way too out of shape. Lynn always picked on Lincoln to toughen up, but she never thought that he'd be the stronger one than her. What's wrong, Linda? Lincoln called out her first real name. Lincoln was always wondering why she was named Lynn Jr. and not him. Lynn Sr. revealed that Lynn's name was actually Linda, and Lynn Jr. was just a nickname. Lynn Sr., however, wanted to name Lincoln Lynn Jr., but he already had the name Lincoln when he adopted him, and he couldn't change the name, so he just let him keep it. Although Lynn Sr. sometimes called him Lincoln, Lynn Jr. was simply a nickname. What did you call me? Lynn, or in this case, Linda asked. I said Linda. Lincoln put his fist in front of Linda's face and she flinched. Ha! 2 for flinching. He punched her in the arm twice. Once everyone got their slice of cake, everyone except Tabby lined up to give Lincoln his presents. Since she had already given him his presents, Lincoln got amazing presents from everyone. Then it was Ronnie Ann's turn to give Lincoln his present. Hey, Lamo, happy birthday. I got your present right here, she said as she was about to give him his gift. Hey, Ronnie Ann, you know the last time we spoke in person I got stronger, right? Yeah. And you know a girl picking on a boy because she likes him isn't outdated, right? Yeah. And well, you remember all the pranks you pulled on me? Ronnie Ann was starting to get nervous. Yeah. And you already know that Lori and Bobby broke up, right? Yeah. Ronnie was really starting to get nervous now. So, what's my present? This. Ronnie Ann said as she opened the gift in front of her, and a pie hit her in the face. There, my present to you is pulling a prank on myself. Happy birthday, Lamb. I mean, Lincoln. We're even now, right? Lincoln just walked up to her, put his arm around her, and strangled her. Ronnie Ann fell down as she was struggling to pull Lincoln's arm off. Lori, help me! Ronnie Ann cried out. No, your brother and I aren't dating anymore, Lori said. Nikki, Ronnie Ann called out for her. I don't know. I mean, you did pick on him a lot, and it's the least you could do for his birthday. Nikki refused to help her as well. So why did you pick on me? Did you really like me or what? Lincoln asked. No, the reason I picked on you was because I wanted Lori to break up with Bobby, but since he wasn't spending as much time with me. Lori then stopped texting on her phone and glared at Ronnie Ann. Is that true, you little twerp? Lori pulled Ronnie Ann away from Lincoln and lifted her up. What? You and Bobby broke up anyway, Ronnie Ann said nervously. I'm literally going to twist you into a human pretzel. No! Meanwhile, Lincoln was just laughing hysterically in the background. Luann was just sitting there waiting for her time to come. She wanted to escape, but there was no way out, and even if she could escape, she wouldn't be able to get far due to her loss of legs. A man walked up to Luann's cell, holding a pencil and paper. What do you want? The man asked her as he was referring to what she wanted for her last meal. Rabbit. Lots of rabbit. I also want an orange and milk. Luann picked those options as they reminded her of Lincoln. The rabbit reminded her of the stuffed bunny Lincoln had. The orange reminded her of the orange t-shirt Lincoln once wore when he was 11, and the milk reminded her of Lincoln's stupid white hair. It's still a mystery to her why Lincoln had white hair. Did one of his biological parents have white hair or what? Lincoln always thought he got his hair from his Pop-Pop, but that was before his parents told him the truth, so Pop-Pop's hair isn't naturally white. After Luann finished her meal, it was time for her execution. She was lying down strapped to the chair. The executioner asked, Do you have any last words? Lincoln Lucastine must die, Luann yelled. The executioner injected her with sodium thiophoid. Luann couldn't feel anything anymore. She was then injected with petroleum bromide. Luann was struggling to breathe. No, it can't end like this. Luann didn't really want it to end like it. She always thought she would die by a cop shooting her after she had killed Lincoln. Finally, she was injected with a potassium chloride. Luann closed her eyes as she was given her last injection, and then afterwards she finally passed. The doctor checked Luann's heartbeat to see if it was still pumping, but it wasn't anymore. Lincoln really did enjoy his party, and he was glad to see that there were still people out there who cared for him. Right now Lincoln was sitting on his bed, looking at his scars. Rita then came in. Lincoln, they called me. It's been done. Luann's gone now. Lincoln didn't know what to think of this. Sure, he was glad that Luann would never break out again, but he still felt kind of bad that Luann was dead. Sure, he may not have even really considered her to be his sister anymore, but should he even really feel happy about her death? After all, Luann was kind of right. If he hadn't made Luann snap, none of this would have happened. How do you feel? Rita said. Lincoln just smiled and said, Fine. Just fine. Rita gave Lincoln a goodnight kiss and went back to her room. Lincoln lay down on his bed and fell asleep. He had nothing to worry about anymore now. Nothing would ever try and hurt him ever again. No one would ever try and hurt him anymore. Luann was dead, and that's all that mattered.
In fear and surprise, as your eyes widen, your mouth goes dry with each battered breath. You try to scream, your mind begs to thee, glued to your computer screen. The killers they slash, the tapes burn and crash. The cartridge you bought will be your final haunt. The rituals of hate will seal your fate. The tears you shed will be from the fear grip dripping horror-driven, nightmarish, gore-filled, terrorizing, hateful, burning, violent, rage-inducing, knife-slashing, blood-splattering, silent screams. Only time will tell if you will escape this online hell. Your horror-filled obsessions will come with its own regressions. Your pathetic screams will not be heeded in any way, because your nightmares will come at any day.